And yo. So I jumped back on because I was so enthralled and let's see if we get some more people on here, but I was so enthralled in telling you about what I want to tell you about and treating this like I was just doing a recorded review that I didn't really answer questions. So I remember some of the questions from the previous thing. This may be helpful for people that might be out there shopping for stuff. Let's see. Let's give it a minute let's see if anybody will join back. Yeah. So listen, one of the things that people were asking is, can you put a USB hub in there? Certainly. Take a USB hub, plug it into the USB, you all of a sudden got, however many USB connections in there that you need. So there's that. Although it's a limitation, I wish they had two so I could keep a storage device and a MIDI device plugged in. Okay, they don't have that. But what you can do, it allows you to see USB hubs. And then at that point, it has as many USB ports as the hub that you buy. So if you buy an 8-port USB hub, you plug it into the back of there, you all of a sudden got 8 ports, and the MPC One will see it just like a computer. It'll see all those devices and utilize them accordingly. If it's MIDI devices, they'll all show up in this little list here for MIDI. Right, you can see that. So you'll have as many devices as you have connected to the hub will be there. So that's one thing. Another thing that I think people were asking is, are the pads softer than the MPC X pads? It's tough for me to tell because these are new pads. Now, they feel like MPC pads. I think they're comfortable. I don't think anything is as comfortable as the MPC pads. I don't know if they're softer than the MPC X, and the problem is there's an MPC X right there. Let me check. Yo, what's up, Andrew? If you were one of the people that were on the last live, then pardon me for getting off without answering questions. I was just kind of so involved. But so yo, throw your questions in there. I'll be on for a couple more minutes answering questions. So yo, I just touched the MPC X pads and I'm coming back. I'm touching these. Honestly, I feel like the MPC X pads are a little softer, but I also think that could be because it's gotten years of wear and tear on it. What about these? How do they feel compared to MPC stuff? Actually, these MPC stuff pads feel better and softer. So there's that. Yeah, so I go into depth about my setup and how this fits in on the previous video. So if you want to check that out, go check out the previous video I just live streamed a couple minutes ago. It is initial thoughts and impressions of the MPC One. So anyway, that's the pad situation. What was the other question? Oh, somebody asked more about this device on the side. So that device is by Modular by Beat People. And I make that device. So that's a Eurorack device sitting in a small Eurorack case. And this performs like, whatever it might be, Sugar Bites, Tornado, XY effects, or SP404, or any of those things that have performance effects. Right. Reverse and delay. Reverb. tape stop. All right. And it also has some coloration effects and a compressor. That's saturation coming from this, right? So that's what that is. Some people wanted to know. So if you want to check that out, go to Instagram, ModBap Modular account. So it's Instagram.com/ModBap Modular. Or you could just go to modbap.com, MODBAP.com. All right, so that's that. I'll put that there. And that's by Beat People, aka me, B-Boy Tech. Those are my companies. So that's that. What were okay, yeah, you got a question, Andrew? What's up? You still there? I don't see the question. Andrew says, I have a question. So at any rate, what were some of the other things that people were asking? I don't know. I feel like it was the pads. It was the USB on the back. You do get the multi-MIDI, like I'm showing here. You get the multi-MIDI. All your devices will show up. If your setup is clever enough, you can run everything like I do through the inputs. I want to use the effects in Logic. Well, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that. But I'll tell you what you can do, Andrew. Sebastian, Andrew. I keep calling you Andrew, but just Sebastian. Okay. So you wouldn't be able to do that because it doesn't affect the live signal coming in. That's been a request of mine for a while, right? So when you go to sample, the sampler, well, actually, you may be able to. Let's see. If I put the XY effects, where you find those at? XY effects. Delay, reverb, modulation. Is that? It's not there. I'm gonna see if we could do that. I'm gonna give it a little test right quick, yo. Dynamics. I don't usually turn on XY effects from this place, but I think if you can turn on XY effects as an insert on the input, then you should be able to run whatever your signal is out to, XY effects. All right. Well, let's see what this works like. I can't do it without. Do you need to buy an interface? Well, no, this will perform as an interface. Actually, you plug it into your computer with USB, and anything that you run through it will then run through your computer. And I don't want to test this right now. I'll test it at some point because right now my voice is coming in. I could mute. Well, yeah, let's try that. Well, that ain't going to work for this show today. All right. But at any rate, in theory, and I don't know if this is true because I can't try it, but in theory, I was able to open the XY effects on an insert. And in theory, you should be able to affect whatever comes in with whatever effect is right there. So you should be able to do that. Another thing is shameless self-plug. ModBap Modular, you can get one of these and run any signal through it. Just input to output. There's nothing else needed. Input a signal and then run it to output. And then you got these effects that you can use. And it's got tap tempo. Right. So there's that. Let's see. A couple other questions. Do I need to buy an interface? I think I just answered that. No, I want to hook up MPC and send out to Logic and then sample the input coming back from the computer into the MPC. You may have to experiment with that because I think you're going to have to do some clever routing. And with that clever routing, you're going to have to make sure there's no feedback loops. And so here's a question from somebody that looks like he's tried it. So I have not tried that sort of thing because I don't necessarily use logic the way I used to. But this is good. So this is what it's about: community, community, community. So -1 says, yes, you can do it. -1, have you done that? I'm sure it's just a matter of how you route it. I do know that at one point you weren't able to affect the incoming signal with your XY effects. So it's good if they've added that. Yeah, the layout is pretty dope. Oh, yeah, it's really hard not to use the X, but I will say, I think the size overall, just zoom back out. The size of this joint is just dope, without question. It's mad portable. It's mad out the damn way. Everybody that knows how I get down knows that I love the Force. The Force is my joint. I didn't expect it to be. It just is. And although I think it's one of the most ultimate sort of performing machines, it's too damn big. Even though I have several bags that I can use to carry it out, it's just too damn big. So yeah. Yeah, so what -1 is answering the question about the routing from Ableton and Logic directly in and out. Yeah, I figured it was all about the routing. Also, yo, what's up? What's up? And who else we got? Cool. Okay, so the question is answered. That's what I'm talking about. Teamwork make the dream work. So yeah, any other questions or anything? Somebody was asking about, oh, I'll give you this little tip that's from the previous video. And this is, just a little thing that I do. I buy these little tilt things from Amazon, and they're really for laptops, but they're kind of perfect to give you just a little bit of height on the back of this joint. They're a little fiddly, but you can get a little tilt on them. So no doubt, Shazam. I feel you. I'm big. I love big. So that's what I was saying in the last video where I didn't really answer questions, which is why I jumped on and did this one. So what I was saying in the last video is, I'm this guy. You know what I mean? I'm also the MPCX guy. I'm also, if you go to probably still today, if you go to the MPC forums, you go to the MPC 5000 forums, you're likely to see my picture up above on a banner because I had reviewed and loved so much the MPC 5000. But my man that runs the MPC forums had written a book on the 5000, and I was all about it. So yeah, it's there. Screen protectors, I think you can get those. Oh, I'm not using a screen protector myself. This is just a piece of plastic that comes on it when you buy it. I just haven't peeled it off. The joint just came yesterday. So at any rate, you can get something like that from mpcstuff.com. So at any rate, yeah, big MPCs, the 5000. I wanted the 4000. I even wanted the MV 8800 and 8000. I didn't get one, but I ended up getting the 5000. And I have the X. So I definitely know what you're saying, Shazam, about the size of the joints. I'm really big on that. And like I said, I pulled out the MPC 2000 XL. I also have the MPC 62. I pulled this out to kind of compare the color. And you can see that the MPC One is a little, and yo, this joint is heavy with the wood and the metal case. You can see that the MPC One is a little lighter, but still, yo, dig that. That's pretty dope. It really has that older vibe. But yeah, and it's pretty powerful. It'll run everything in my studio. If you weren't here before, I'll show you. I'm gonna grab a video file right quick. So I'll show you just with one USB cable, I can run everything on that side of the studio. One USB cable and a hub. So as I get closer to this particular this mod BAP tower, this is what I call it, but Euro rack. This device, Polyend Poly 2. Um, oh yeah, you talking about big things. These this is where we get down. So um, anyway, that is basically just like a huge rack of, think of it as plugins. And so with that device, I'm gonna just rewind this a little bit. That device that I landed on right there, the Poly, it's called a Polyend Poly 2. This is a MIDI to CV device. So basically what I do is I connect that with USB to the MPC. And by connecting that via USB to the MPC, let me unshare that now so I can show you what I mean. This is the wire that connects, this is the USB cable that connects to that Polyend Poly 2 device. What that does for me is it gives me a MIDI channel that I can now play the Eurorack modular synth from this side of the room. And what I mean by that is I'll unmute that. Right. So right. Now the light bulbs are starting to come on, right? So MIDI to CV, I'm literally going out through USB, bam, with a USB wire that goes all the way over and tapers around and lands right up there. We'll play that again. Sorry for those that already saw it. So you see all those cables coming out of the Polyend Poly 2? That's connecting to all kinds of other, and I can do huge patches. All those outputs right there can be controlled from the MPC with this device, and it's connected via one USB cable. Now I can go and play this stuff. Right. So you're hearing that, what's on the screen. You're hearing that big beast of a machine. All right, so I'll remove that. So my point of showing you that is to show you just how powerful this is. Like, don't let the size of the joint fool you. Yeah, the pads are much smaller than the regular MPC pads. I won't say much smaller, but they're probably 2/3 the size of regular MPC pads. But because you have the USB on the back, you also have the USB host on the back, you also have MIDI and all of those different things. I guess I'll have two of these videos up there. Pardon the wires. Power, network, USB host, the lock, MIDI in, MIDI out. Then you got your, here. I have to move those wires so you can see that. That's the record in volume. And then you have your inputs, your outputs, and then your master volume. I am not a fan of master volume being on the back like that, but hey, there's only so much space with these sorts of things. So I get it. It's all good. Yeah, it's don't let it fool you, man. This is not necessarily a entry level unit. It's just small. You're getting everything, all the features inside this. What is the stand that the one is on? Oh, good question, D. What's up, D? It's just these little laptop triangles that I bought off of Amazon for like, I think these joints were like $5. So I'll just kind of lay them down. They're a little fiddly, but they'll stand that joint up just enough. Boom. Yeah, and it gives it a little angle. It's not much, but you know, it's decent. See if you can see it from this third camera. And so I put that up there so y'all can see what I'm doing here. You see, you get just a little bit of angle down there. Boom. All right, let's pay attention. Let's see. Yeah, so to the point, this is not necessarily an entry-level unit. It's small. Don't confuse the two. Now, I will say if you are more of an entry-level type of person that's never been on an MPC, I mean, you can still jump on to learn this just like you would learn any of them. But don't think that because this is small, this has a bunch of, you know, like they've cut back a bunch of stuff. This is using the same software and all the same features that the bigger MPCs have, whether you're talking about the MPC Live or whether you're talking about the Live 2 or the MPC X or whatever you might be talking about. This has it all in there. Where the limitations here comes in is the physical. The physical limitations are the Q-links on the side, but if you got a Live 2, that's the same. The Live 2 and the MPC Live, that's all the same, but you still get 16 Q-links. It's just the MPC X has 16 physical knobs. This has 4 physical knobs and 4 banks so that you can go to the other stuff, right? So that effectively gives you 16 knobs. It's just you have 4 physical knobs. Then you also, the pads are about 2/3 of the size. You get 16 levels, full level, half level, copy, delete, erase, note, repeat, all the stuff that you would get anywhere else. You got your SD card on the front, your phones on the front, all the other stuff that you have on the back. The MPC X, I think, has 2 USB and a bunch more connections and outputs on the back. This does kind of strip down that sort of physical stuff. But the reality is you're still getting what you need to do. You can sample into it. There's no herky-jerky BS like, yo, you can only sample over USB and all that kind of stuff. No, you get a left and right input so you can sample directly into this joint with regular old audio cables. No BS. Now, what's dope about this too is that it also has CV. And I can't remember if I mentioned that, but yeah, it has CV right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 CV and gate, but you really get 8. And why do you get 8? Because if you get a cable like this, a splitter, then you multiply those 4 by 8. Because when you get this splitter, you're all of a sudden breaking those out and creating extra CV. So that's why it's numbered like that. It's numbered 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8. I hate that, but that's how it's numbered. And the reason it has double numbers on it is because when you put a splitter in there, you multiply that setup by, right? So anyway, if you get 4 of these cables, you now have 8 of those CV and gates. So boom. All right. All right. Get some of these cables out of the way, zoom back out here. And so any other questions? Oh, the other thing is, man, I can't stand that I did this twice. Stackable cables work too? Well, I don't know. I haven't tried. Yeah, I don't know that. I think the splitting thing is what really works. Right. So you may be able to use it with okay, hold on. You might think I'm talking to myself. So synth so I don't know how to say it. So synth dude, stackable cables work too. Okay, so but it sounds like you're asking a question that didn't answer it. But can I split signals with stack cables? I don't think you can. And I'll try it, but not right now. I'll try it and kind of do an update. But you have to kind of have this guy, right? Because it's a stereo splitting cable. And that is what makes the difference to be able to split out that stereo signal, right? And so that's the key to that. It does have the looper function. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's no different than the bigger MPCs. It has the looper function without a problem. Looper, boom, there you go. And so there's somebody that's obviously tried it before. You need the splitter, and it's probably because of what I was saying. This is a stereo splitter cable, and so you're not going to get that connection that you need to break out that other CV if you don't have a stereo cable. So that was the theory, but now we have somebody that's tried it. So good stuff. So yeah, I mean, I was also able to load old MPC X programs in here, and that's what we're listening to right now. This is very old stuff. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. Right. So just to demonstrate that, yeah, you can load up your old stuff in there and it's just fine. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff about it. And it's not to be looked at as something small and weak. It is not. I'm literally running my entire system and setup. For those that joined late, I'll just kind of show you what I have connected to this with one USB cable. That. So, yeah, just so you know. And again, I'll just say that MIDI to CV devices, there's many MIDI to CV devices out there, but the one I'm using is Polyend Poly 2. And, you know, so yeah, I'll remove that. This is a Powerhouse. Don't sleep on it. It's a little smaller buttons. Everything else is there. You have a few less connections, but every type of connection that you would need is back there. You just may have to do a little, mute this to grab that and a couple of different things. So, yo, what up? Why not? What's happening, man? You know, this is the number 2 one that I just did. So I think altogether I've been at this almost an hour because I've gushed over it and talked about it on the first one and didn't answer any questions because I totally forgot about comments. And so anyway, I think we got some questions answered here. These MPC pads are nice. They're not quite as soft and my MPC X pads are perfect, but I also think that's because of the wear and tear that I've put on them over the years. These still feel really nice. I don't think they feel as nice as these stick pads here though. And I keep putting this big boy up there. These stick pads are the joint. Truly, truly the joint. However, this joint is heavy, and I love my XL, but this joint is heavy. I ain't going out the house with it. This, on the other hand, I don't even know how much that weighs. It's lighter than a bag of sugar. The MPC 2000 XL ain't. All right, so let's see. Another question. I prefer form of the MPC One, but need Wi-Fi. Weirdly, all less buttons, sadly. Buttons say what they do in dark. But MPC One, no. Yeah, I kind of think you'll kind of go through that no matter if it's light or dark. You may have some people may have different preferences on that kind of. What's up, Inky? It's been a while. Some people may have that kind of preference, but yeah. I think you have everything you need. You know what I mean? You have main, browse, track mix, track mute, next sequence, tap tempo, undo, redo, menu preferences. Oh, dope. So you can get to the MIDI stuff from there. And then, like I said, all the different stuff here. Then you have your browser here where you have your looper, pad mixer, channel mixer, next sequence, track mute and stuff. You got your sampler and your looper. Everything is there. You have everything that you need. All the different screens are there. The XY effects are there. It's a full-fledged machine. It's just in a smaller format. So just know that. Yeah, it definitely is. And I think it's too quiet, so I'm just going to turn on some music here. this? Double tap on. Yeah, there's that. So that's a dope feature too. And you know what? I'm gonna mention this. Yo, I have been involved in some of these MPCs for a long time, and so much usage of different things. But over the last 2 years, I've been using the Force almost exclusively. And I found that when I came back to the MPC, I had to find my way around again. That's weird to me because I was an MPC. I am an MPC dude, but I've used the Force so much, and the Force is quirky in a sense where there's a lot of shift combinations and all that, and you get used to that if you're using it day in, day out. But on the real, I sickened that with the fat pads on MPC. Yeah, no doubt. But on the real, I've had to kind of find my way around it. And it's not like it's taken forever. I just got this yesterday, but I'm like, oh, there's everything, right? So at any rate, like I said, if you're used to the MPC stuff and you come and jump on this, you'll know your way around. This is a tried and true MPC. It's just a smaller format. It's not like, if you remember back in the day, the MPC 500 was some sort of stripped down version of the regular MPCs, 2500s, the 1000s, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't like the 500. However, I know that there's a growing sort of faction of folks that are like, yo, the 500 is basically an old MPC, MPC 60 or MPC 2000 in a small body, if you really check it out. And so there's that. So I think this is going to serve a purpose. Like for me, I'm not necessarily a super fan of standalone sequencers. So something like this, I could slave to whatever machine I'm using, whether that's the S2400 or the Force or whatever, or I could just use this as the simple as the centerpiece of my setup. And so you see the 2400 is here over there. But yeah, man, don't sleep on this. I love it. Maybe I haven't had it long enough to say I love it, but did I stop using the Force? Nah, I didn't stop using the Force. Okay, yes and no. I had a couple of shows to do last week where I had to live stream and do a performance. So I have so much material on the Force already. I pulled the Force back out and I filmed what I needed to film. I move around on the Force like easy. It's like an additional appendage. I can move around on the Force pretty easily. But what I wanted to do is I got some stuff that I want to do with the MPC One specifically. And then two, lately, my bitch has been this S2400. So that's what I'm going to be digging into mostly, but I'm also going to be using the MPC One as well. So it just depends on the project that I'm working on and what kind of stuff I'm working on, what I might use, right? So let's see. Oh yeah, so that's another thing. I want to put this question back up there again. That's the thing people have to realize about the new MPC line. These are not like, they're good quality, period. No questions about it. The inputs on the back on the AD converters, AD/DA converters are pristine, and they stand right up there with some of your best, some of the best audio interfaces that are out there. They are up there to par. I've had people ask me like, yo, how you getting that good sound? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm just going directly into the MPC or directly into the Force. But they all have that good A/D/DA converters, and they're just good. There's no way around it. Whatever you record in here, if the signal is clean, it's going to sound like what you recorded, and it's going to punch it up. It's going to sound good. MPCs, this is no different. There's no reason why they would change that on this. So yeah, definitely true stuff. Yep, exactly. I've had the same experience. And let's see. What's up, frequent firmware updates, though? Well, I have some strong opinions about the frequent firmware updates, and probably because I'm getting to a point where I'm becoming an old head. And I don't like to say that, but the truth is the truth. I've been, around MPC since the 90s and got my first MPC early 2000s. So I've definitely had my own MPC since 20 years ago. and been around them for much longer than that. So what do you need to do with the frequent firmware updates that you can't do? Listen, I'm not advocating that they shouldn't update it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think we've become a community of folks that's addicted to features and addicted to, like, listen, if the joint ain't crashing, I'm banging out. That's the way I look at it. However, we live in a day and age where updates happen and things are promised. And if they're promising features, then they should give us the features that they are promising us, and don't walk away from support. Now, what I can say, Akai used to be in that kind of situation years ago, but ever since they brought out the MPC Ren and the Studio and then moved up to the X and the Live, they've been on point. You've gotten, honestly, I feel like more updates from them than a lot of other companies. And I know that may be controversial to some, because people might say, we were waiting forever for the Force update. Okay, that's true. I agree. I don't think it should have taken that long. And I don't know what the inner politics of it are. But I was able to bang out on the Force as it was. And what it did for me, it didn't have a song mode, but what it did for me is it taught me live performance and live arrangement. And so I've been performing with the Force ever since. When I got song mode, I'm like, oh, okay, we got song mode now, but I don't even use it now. I live arrange. Now, whether that's a plus or a minus, I don't know, but it works for me performing live. I will say this. Don't get too caught up, and this is sincere advice and not a criticism, because we all need what we need, but don't get too caught up in waiting for firmware updates, because I just don't think that, I think that's counterproductive to you being productive as a producer or beat maker. And listen, I'm not trying to speak down to anybody, because we all probably have projects that we're working on, and that's not where I'm coming from. But I think if a company gives you one update a year, that's cool. If they give you 2 or 3 or 1 a quarter, that's incredible. But I wouldn't buy a piece expecting it to be something later that is not today. Now, if there's bugs, they need to be fixed. But feature updates and stuff, it is what it is. Use what you use. Get busy how you could get busy. Be creative. All right, so I think I've said enough about this machine. I appreciate y'all for joining, and they should improve the sequencer capabilities. Note probability play mode. Okay, maybe I'm not done yet. Note probability and play mode, like reverse random. So I have to say that I think it's a delicate balance with the MPC. It's a delicate balance. You're dealing with a legacy bit of kit here. And with that legacy bit of kit, you have legacy users, and it's hard to please both sets, the legacy users and the modern or new users. And there's also, like, if you buy cars, Cadillac is always going to be what Cadillac is. And even if they go hybrid or even if they go electric, they're still going to have the Cadillac, look, feel, ride, big boaty kind of thing, because that's part of the brand and part of the legacy of it. So I think when we get into probability, play mode, reverse, all those different things, I would love those to be there too. But I also understand what I'm using when I'm using it. And if I want that stuff, I'll just use Electron stuff, or Digitac, or whatever it might be, Octatrack and that kind of stuff. And those kind of requests are valid, but they were never really as strong as they are until people got a real good whiff of Electron. Electron changed the game there when it comes to that kind of stuff. And, it takes other companies a bit to catch up. And then not only to catch up, I don't think that there's anything about that they can't do, but they also have to figure out, how do we do that and maintain what our product is? Because I'll tell you right now, for me, everything ain't everything. And I think that, even sometimes myself, I'm like, I wish this did that. I wish that did this. But no machine is going to be every machine. But I do think that they might get there someday, because it's becoming a bigger demand the more and more we deal with it. Yeah, still amazing compared to legacy days. Hell yeah, it is. Hey, in legacy days, you didn't get an update. Forget about it. Ain't no update. No 2 ways about it. It is what it is. You bought it. Thank you. I appreciate your student loan refund money, and have fun. but now you're at least, I can tell you that I know that firsthand these guys are always these guys, and I mean because I've gone to NAM enough and I've met enough people who are the actual guys that do a lot of this stuff. They're working all the time on updates. Now, whether these things come out in a certain amount of time, whatever the requests are, you know, they have to decide whether it's going to work right. If you implement that, does it break something else? Is that something that we talk about now that we have enough requests that may be a new product? Like, there's a lot of considerations to think about when it comes down to it. I'm never down for anyone that tells you the product is going to be this and then puts it out like this, right? And then you're stuck with something that wasn't what you intended to buy. But I also think we're a feature drunk society. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. I love to see the list of features that comes out on a new gear. And I'm like, yo, it does like this, it does like that. I can have conversations for hours about it. But the reality is when I get it, I'm going to use only 15% because that's all I'm going to do. I'm too lazy to do anything else. That's the way it works. And yeah, 5000, the MPC 5000 is a great example. That joint came out and it took a dump every time you turned it on. And Just Blaze roasted it publicly. I was heavy in the forums around that time. We was all like, ooh, no, the 5000 is dying. It just came out. And they did an update to 2.0. Done. That joint lived 5 more years. And I certainly had it in my studio all that time with no more updates. Wasn't no complaints about no updates. So this is a weird place that I think we're in. Yeah, yo, the Force is a beast of another extreme. I honestly think the Force is one of the coldest products on the market, bar none, period. I did not expect to get the Force, but when I got the Force, I did not expect for it to become the centerpiece of my production life for years to come. And that is what it has become because it's such a powerful beast. I showed you how much stuff I got in here, and the Force handles it with a breeze. And the more updates they put in it, the better it is. And listen, don't even argue that with me, because you know what I'm saying? Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, you're right, Sean Brown. Yo, Sean Brown, I think I saw a video of you. You would talk about the S2400, if I'm not mistaken. Good video. But yeah, that's why the JJ was made. Man, I wish we could talk about stuff that like me and the squad know stuff about that we can never talk about. But I wish we could talk about it. But you know, yeah, there's so much dope about that. JJ made a killing, and he made a killer ass OS that was just dope, period. They should allow us to connect, and we're running along right here, so I'm gonna cut this off shortly. We should allow us to connect other audio devices to USB port. It don't do that? I'd have to test. I don't know if it does that. Machine Plus does. Okay. They need a update stuff. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think let's see, if I can get the mixer from the Force on the MPC, on the MPCX, I'm done. I feel you, man. Yeah, hey, listen, there's some stuff that I initially missed from the MPCX, but I got to tell you, yo, I got a project coming that I made in the first couple months of having the Force, and it's some of the coldest shit I ever made, just because of this new workflow and how I could easily capture audio, capture everything right on this one thing, and then arrange it live and perform it. The Force is it, yo. Period. I mess with other things because I want to learn the S2400 because of the way it sounds. And the workflow is really dope. But I got to tell you, the force, when it come time for me to perform, I'm rocking the force. I've even considered getting 2 force. Yeah, not 2 forces, but 2 force and a mixer to go between it, like a DJ mixer, so I could flip all day long. If they had disc streaming, there's a few things in there that they need, but they don't have yet. But yeah, man. Anyway, yo, I'm not gonna bend your ears anymore. This is a too long video for what I meant to jump on here and do. And all I'm gonna say is don't sleep on the MPC One. This MPC One is dope. I don't know that that says enough about it, but it's very powerful. It is more than meets the eye. Don't let the size fool you. This is a full-featured MPC. It's a powerful box that can be a good beginner's box because of the size, and it could be a full-fledged. Listen, people are making stuff on iPhones, bro. People are making stuff on iPads. All I'm saying is this joint is not to be slept on because it's just as powerful as the MPC Live 2. It's just as powerful as the MPC X. It's just in a smaller. I don't even understand like their product line, or the MPC One has messed my mind up about what they're doing, but I love what they're doing with this, and it looks great. And so yeah, don't sleep on it. What else is there? On map thing for us. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of stuff we can do. All right, so yo, I'm out. I'll check y'all later. Oh, before I go though, do that. Smash that like button. Also, get your news from here. Also, get your sample packs from there. All right, I'm out.